We will go over how to make an open sign in MecaWind. A sign is considered to be open if the openings in the sign make up more than 30% of the gross area. If the openings are less than or equal to 30%, then the sign would be considered solid. To create an open sign, click the Structure Type button in the General tab and select Open Sign. Please note that there is also an option called Single Plane Open Frame, and this actually uses the exact same calculation basis as the open sign. We must now select a MWFRS analysis method. The only valid option for an open sign is Chapter 29. There is no component and cladding method for an open sign, and so we click the CNC method and select None. Now we have to determine if the sign is flexible or rigid. If it has a natural frequency of less than 1 Hz, then it would be considered flexible. Otherwise, it would be rigid. We will assume the sign is rigid for this example. Now click the Open Sign tab and we will see the inputs required for the open sign. The first option is a Help button, which provides a graphic to illustrate the inputs for the open sign definitions. Height from the grade is how high the sign is from the ground floor to the top of the sign. Now we enter the width of the sign. The vertical height refers to the height of the sign itself, and so if the sign is on grade, this value will be the same as the height to the top that we previously entered. If the sign is elevated above grade, then this vertical height will be less than. Next, we specify the solidity of the sign. If the sign is 40% solid, then you would specify a solidity of 0.4, which would indicate that the sign is 40% solid and 60% open. If you try to specify a solidity of greater than or equal to 0.7, then an error will be generated because an open sign must have no less than 30% openings in the gross area of the sign. Since this same criteria is used for open signs or frames, there is an option to indicate if the members that make up the frame are round. If the members are round, then you will also enter a typical outer diameter. Now click Perform Analysis in the lower right corner and the wind calculations for the sign and supporting columns can be viewed. The open sign could be used for other structures that are not necessarily signs but might be rectangular and more than 30% openings. For example, let's say you have a structural frame that is supporting equipment, piping, platforms, etc. When you look at it, you estimate that it is less than 70% solid. Then you might use the open sign to calculate the total wind load on the structure and the objects it supports combined. With a little imagination, you can find that there may be many non-sign structures where the open sign criteria might be useful.